Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Brittany Smith Podcast. I'm your host, Brittany N. Smith. I'm so excited that you're here. I know I always say that, but no, I'm really excited that you guys are tuned in today and you picked a good one. You picked a good one to listen in on. I have my new friend, Miss Olivia Cook, and she is the CEO and founder of Olivia TM Cook Coaching, and she is a transformational success coach. And one of the things that I think is important for you to be transformed in your business is that your mindset needs to shift, one, and two, your levels of productivity, I feel like, are always an issue. Those are the things that keep us from being able to move to the next level, that we're not working in an efficient way and we're not being productive in our lives. Raise your hand. I know I can't see you, but raise your hand if you want to be more productive in your life, especially for those of you who are wearing multiple hats. Olivia, a lot of our audience members are not just entrepreneurs, but they are ministers, they are wives, they are mamas, they are sisters, aunties, cousins, best friends. And so we are doing the most in our everyday life. And so I want to speak to the female entrepreneur about being productive so that your business doesn't die when your plans change or when you're just not feeling it that day or what have you. So Olivia, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's an honor to be here, Brittany. Thank you so much for having me on. And I'm so excited to get into this topic.
Awesome. So Olivia, first things first, tell us about your business, who you are, and why you're qualified to teach us about getting our lives together in the productivity area.
Absolutely. So I am a transformational success coach. I focus on productivity, mindset, and utilizing your menstrual cycle to your benefit to increase my clients' income, decrease their stress levels, and help them really enjoy their success journeys. I work with predominantly female entrepreneurs and content creators and helping them really be productive in not just business, but their lives as well. Because we started a business a lot of times, a lot of these people, it's for freedom, financial security and stability and everything, but still freedom and time to have with those they love. And they didn't want to be spending all this time in the business. So why I'm qualified? Okay, well, I've done things the wrong way for a long time. And I've learned the hard way through a lot of lessons on what doesn't work. I like to share my authentic truth. And I've also rebuilt my life multiple times. So when I was 20 years old, I was, and yes, 20, but I wasn't your average 20-year-old. I was going to school full time. I was in an abusive relationship with someone, and my father passed away, and I had to pay for his funeral. And no, there was no life insurance. No, I've made it out the mud, as some would say. And I was working third shift at a Waffle House. I was also working another job. So I was working two jobs and going to school, exhausting myself in a bad relationship. And when I say abusive, I mean, we were physically violent with each other. And, it was just a really, really hard time in my life. And I thought that I needed to move away to Texas. I keep wanting to escape to Texas, and I've never actually lived there, but someone keeps pulling me to Texas. But anyway, that's besides the point. And then I just realized I just needed a change of routine and a change of scenery. So I literally just moved 30 minutes away. Now I was 20 and I had turned 21 by the time I moved. I left this boyfriend because we did live together. And I mean, during this time, he lost his jobs. I was paying all the bills.
Oh my goodness.
The struggle was real. Okay. So I hadn't been there. And then, I changed things around. I changed scenery. I started living a great life, but this great life was a life that I started coping with my issues with alcohol. I definitely drank too much as soon as I turned 21, and I wasn't a huge partier before, but dealing with the trauma that I had recently gone through, that was just the way I was functioning. And then a few years later, I met my husband and my now husband, and we got married and I moved away to Florida. And then I had to rebuild my life in Florida. I had a great support system in South Carolina, and being a military wife, it's like, it's my first go around at that. And I didn't have a job. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. I ended up gaining like 40 pounds in 2 months. You know, I have no problem gaining weight. That's of mine. And so, yeah, I gain all this weight, and I get really depressed, because depression is also something that I've battled with on and off since the age of 6. I've never been diagnosed. I've never been on antidepressants, and I don't have anything against anybody that takes them. And, you know, that is actually the 3rd most purchased prescription in the United States right now is antidepressants. But aside from that, so I like gained all this weight. I started working again. I finished up my degree, and I went to Florida State University, and I really just worked on being consistent and living a healthy lifestyle. And that's when I really started working on personal development. And thank God I started working on personal development then, because in 2018, Hurricane Michael hit Panama City, Florida, and we lost about 80% of our belongings and our home, and we had to just rebuild everything. But you know what? I was able to count my blessings. I was able to help those that were less fortunate than me, and really see that I had the power to create my life. Because at this point, I did it a few times. All right, I'm like, okay, this ain't nothing new, you know? So then I created a life that I had to escape. And this was a life that I'm stubborn, so I don't learn things the first time. But I do what I do so other people don't have to go through the same struggles that I did. Because, man, I hadn't been through some things, all right? So when I was rebuilding this life, my focus was I wanted to just be making money. I knew the amount of money I wanted to make. And I wanted to just work all the time. And guess what? That's what I was doing. Working all the time. Having no life. Like, that's not a flipping life. That's not
no.
it.
And so like let me jump in because I'm just listening like, ooh, yeah. Oh, girl, what? So I'm like, oh wait, I'm a part of this conversation. But so first, I want to say thank you for sharing transparently with the peaks and valleys of your life. I think that almost all of us who are listening right now can identify with that rock bottom here, and then we made it out, now we're doing good, and then rock bottom shows up again. And I think what we're seeing in your story is that resilience that we as women, I think, are born with innately. There's a survival muscle that you had to flex throughout your life, and even the skill and ability to create your own solutions. You know, I'm a creative, and so one of the things that I always say is you can always create your way out. I don't care what it is. If you want to live and you feel like your life is on the line, you can create your way out, and that's what you've done throughout your life. So I know that the person who is in that bad relationship, I hope that you are encouraged that you can get out of it, and you can still be successful even after that. You know, like you're looking at a prime example of someone who has gone through it, literally fought through it, got out of it, and still was able to build a healthy and successful life from that place. And then, like she mentioned, I'm not going to recount the whole story, but you know, just the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows of life, and still coming out on top. I think that's something that is to be highlighted and celebrated. So we thank God for just being present with you throughout all of your ups and downs. So as you are here now, what would you say to the woman who is right now in the pit, but knows that she has entrepreneurship on the inside of her, or knows that there's more to life? Because you're a transformational success coach, right? So she needs to transform out of the place that she's in into a new kind of success. Like maybe she doesn't even have an idea of what success looks like. So speak to the person right now who's in that lull of life and is looking to transform out of that space.
the first thing you need to do is stop comparing yourself with anybody else that is out there and distracting yourself with what they have or what they don't have, and focus on what you truly want from a core level. And I highly suggest doing this by looking at the wheel of success and looking at all of the areas of life on a holistic standpoint. And don't allow this to overwhelm you. Okay. Don't get yourself overwhelmed by like, I'm not here yet. You can't measure what you don't track. So you got to be real with where you are in life and where you want to go. And guess what? There is someone in every aspect of life that has gotten to where you want to. So you start befriending people that have different aspects for you. So if you want to be a better mother, if you want to have more time with your child and incorporate a better relationship so they can come to you because you couldn't go to your mother when you were a child, you start befriending people that have healthy relationships and seeing how they conduct those relationships with their children. And then when you want to be around people that, let's say, are business owners, you start putting yourself around business owners, but you first got to decide what you want. And so I said that doesn't come by seeing what other people have. The other people come after you decide what you want.
Ooh, and y'all, do y'all hear the snap with it? Like, if you're watching, you can see it, but I hope you can hear it, because it's a thing. Like we will self-sabotage our way out of the things that we want. One, and two, do you even know what you want? You know, we're looking at, you know, the internet and the people next to us, and we're seeing like, oh, well, they look so happy. You know that what people post on social media ain't the full story, right? So you really need to get inside yourself, identify what you want first, because then you can plan. You can go up from there. So that was perfect. Olivia, thank you for sharing that. So now that you have that, listen, pull out, if you haven't already, your Brittany Smith podcast notebook, okay? Because this is where you need to be taking down the notes, all right? So that's your first practical takeaway. Really take an inventory of what you want out of life. And I don't just mean, oh, I want to make more money, I want to have a vacation home in Dubai. Like, no, like really what you want. Like, what does happiness look like for you? What does a healthy family look like for you? What does healthy relationship look like for you? What does a thriving business look like for you? Who are you called to serve? You know, like, because happiness is more than just the things you have. There has to be a sense of fulfillment. And I truly believe that a part of true happiness is your ability to flex and give to somebody else and to help somebody else out. Olivia talked about when Hurricane Michael came through and you know, ruined most of their things. She still found some way in her heart to be able to give back to somebody else, even in her time of having lost something. And so I believe that we're better for the ability to give back to the person next to us, or, you know, whoever needs around us. So that's huge. So Olivia, then tell us, after we have done this inventory, what are some of the practical things we can do now that we know what we want? We know how to, not we know how to, but we know what the goals are. What are some of the practical things that maybe you share with your clients even, to kind of begin to step up out of that space?
Start with up-leveling who you are on a soul level. Your exterior is only a reflection of your interior. And it's the transformation really happens on the inside. So up-leveling your personal standards and what you're going to tolerate and not tolerate. There's a lot of us that have some really negative people in our lives. And it's really important to incorporate the boundaries of what we're no longer going to tolerate. So, for instance, if you want, let's say your transformation is something that's aesthetic, like you want to lose weight, you want to have a healthier lifestyle, you have to understand that this is now a lifestyle. So you have to make time in your schedule to make that a lifestyle. And that's one of the things I really help my clients with, is seeing the time that they already have and making it realistic, fitting their goals into their schedule. Because I'm not here to disrupt somebody's life. Nah, God does that. God will disrupt your life and shake some things up. I'm just a vessel that just comes through and shows you how you can put the little things in places. Spending 30 minutes a day learning a new craft, if you want to start a new business, will take you so much further than if you spent one day at random doing something. No, it's what you can do consistently that will give you success in the end.
I love that. Consistency is my word for the year, actually. Is to be consistent. So ladies, as you're listening, one of the things that I want to point out, and I want you to really internalize this, that all of the changes that you want in your life start with you. Notice that every question I ask her, whether it's for practical tips or what would you say, it points back to you. It points back to your ability to be self-aware. It points back to your believing that you are worth it, that you are worth the work that needs to be done. Because this is work. Losing weight is work. Building a business is work. Raising kids is work. Being a wife is work. Being a person in 2022 is work. Being a healthy person in 2022 is work. So I want you to really internalize the fact that you truly are the determining factor as to whether or not you're going to evolve out of the space that you're currently in. It's okay that you want more for your life. I want more for my life, but those things are determined upon me assessing where I am, being honest with myself about who I am and where I am. And then, like Olivia just said, being realistic, right? Like, okay, I want to, be more, spend more time with God every day, right? And I'm this overachiever. I'm this type A personality person. I'm going to win my time with God, right? And so I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get up at 4 a.m. and I'm going to spend 3 hours on my face with the Lord. And God is like, okay, go ahead and try it. Go ahead and try that. And then meanwhile, I'm over here beating myself up because I'm not doing it. I'm not succeeding at it because I wasn't being realistic. And so you set these high hopes for yourself and they weren't realistic, and then you fail. So you say, that's why I shouldn't have tried it in the first place. And then you just keep yourself in this cycle. You look like you want to say something.
I've been spending so much time with God. I really have. And it was crazy because last night for the first time, like I watched the prophetic, words and stuff. I love those. I love those so much. But for the first time, I got like a scripture sent, download to me, like just right before I went to sleep. And it was like Isaiah 1:19. I was like, all right, I'm just going to go to sleep, right? I woke up, first thing on my mind, Isaiah 1:19. I'm like, okay, all right, this is, I'm like saddling up with, okay, I've been praying for a long time, to really get, because I'm not one of those people that knows scripture by like the back of my hand. I'll show you something. I have scriptures and notes, like quotes up here. That are in two different things that whenever I'm feeling low, I look over and I can refresh my mind. But that wasn't one that was on there. And so I looked it up in the morning and it was telling me to be obedient. I'm like, all right, I haven't been doing that. But it wasn't just being obedient. It was that, wait on God's timing is really another thing as well. And I know that a lot of people here are women of God. And so really having that relationship with Christ, especially now, there's a revival in the church. There's a revival so many places. I see it. I feel it. And because I'm an empathic person, and I'm like, man, it's beautiful to see. And I mean, you as being somebody in ministry, like you have to like be experiencing that as well. And it was just something that I just felt the need to share with you because I'm like, man, God's really been speaking to me. And I know he's probably speaking to some of you that are listening to this or watching this. And whatever he's put on your heart to do, follow that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, listen, we're about to shift right here. Because you're right. You're right. No, many of us who are listening, who are part of this community, are believers in Jesus Christ. Amen. Hey, y'all. But there are a handful that may not. Maybe you don't have faith at all. Maybe you have a different belief, and that's okay. You're still welcome to listen in, because I know that there is a calling on our lives, right? There's something on the inside of you that is drawing you to do something. And oftentimes, honestly, that nudge is to do something bigger than what you're doing now. It's something that is impactful. It's something that is bigger than you, bigger than even your lifetime. And that's scary to think about sometimes. Or even if you're anything like me, sometimes you're like, nah, that's too big. But I'm speaking to you right now, in addition to what Olivia just said, that the purpose that you have, that you're carrying, is for a time such as this. That's what the word says. You are feeling the pull to start that business now because your business is needed right now, not 3 years from now. I'm gonna let y'all in on a secret that I'm like kind of kicking myself and laughing, but it's okay because God redeems the time. So you know how everybody out there now is doing, these done for you Canva templates where you can just buy templates for your business and stick your information in or whatever. That's cool. Everybody's doing it now. I had gotten the idea, and my templates are called DIY design tools. And I had this whole thing in my head about how I was going to create these templates and sell them before this was even a thing. And I didn't act on it then. I was like, I don't know. I started to do that, well, why me? And I'm not good enough. And who's going to buy it from me? And blah, blah, blah. Who am I to start this thing? If nobody else is doing it, then, there must be a reason. So I sat on it. 3 years later, 4 years later, there's templates everywhere. And many of them are not even that good, but people are doing it and it's a thing. And so now I have to bring my DIY design tools into this saturated marketplace when I could have really taken the marketplace by storm if I would have acted on it and was obedient when I first got the idea. So I say all that to say, your thing is for right now, one. Two, you can take the steps. You don't have to know the answers right now. Just start with what you know. Start with writing it down. Start with sharing it with someone who's trustworthy that would be really invested in helping you to see it come to pass. Like Olivia said, and I love this point that you made about getting around the people who are doing what you want to do, or people who you admire for those different areas of your life. The same thing as it is with your business. You don't know how to start a digital agency, connect with someone who has a digital agency. If you don't know how to do graphic design, but you want to, because there's just something on the inside of you that says, I want to design things graphically and digitally, connect with another graphic designer. There are people out there who are looking for people to pour into. I'm one of those people. Like, oh, you want to learn something? Let me see can you click this button on the computer? Let me see how you click the button. Okay, great, you're in. Like, it's that way. And I think too, Olivia, the world that we're living in right now with the way the internet is set up, we have access to people that we would not normally have access to, prior to the way the internet is set up. Like Instagram, you can like DM Oprah, like not that she will answer you, but I'm just saying, like, you can DM Chick-fil-A, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can reach out to these people, and the reach is so much shorter these days than it was back then. So you really just have to go for it. You really just have to go for it.
We are so blessed to be in the time that we're in right now, especially as Black women. This is the best time in the history of the world for us. I'm not saying it's super easy, but it's the best time we done had.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Just by seeing the amount of representation that we have, the amount of exposure that we're getting, and the amount of Black-owned businesses that there are, and just how we're really going to be able to change our generations going forward and really pour into them and really help uplift the Black community. I think that's definitely a blessing that we have. But back to being like productive, I think people don't take account for how many people they can actually be around. And you got, and the real reason you got to change you is you got to get that jealousy out your system. You got to get that comparison out your system too. You have to adopt a learner's mindset. You can't have a learner's mindset and a judger's mindset at the same time. And when you're judging, you're comparing. But when you're learning, you are adopting and realizing that you can do better, because if you wake up tomorrow, you got a new opportunity to do better and be a better version of yourself. So adopt that. That is one of the biggest things that has helped me, because, oh goodness, as a person that battles with depression, of course that comparison thing comes in real heavy. As a person that grew up poor and has horrible money mindset issues, that has to like really work on my self-worth and building myself up, that has been something that has been really hard. Giving yourself grace in the process while you're trying new things, allowing yourself to try new things, and understanding that failure is just a part of the process. And you really got to look at how you consider failure, and stop looking at these people that are making 6, 7, 8 figures in their business and thinking, why is that not me yet? You don't understand what time they put in. Yes, everybody posts their highlight reels. They don't post when they're going through problems. And I realize I'm guilty of that as well. I don't share, and unless I'm on a podcast or talking to somebody one-on-one. I'm a very open and honest person, but I'm always spreading positivity. So I get the impression that people think that I'm always happy. No,
no, baby. No.
Perfect, but it's really counting the blessings in the moments, because there is no future and there is no past. The past is really what we think about and how we construe the message, but it's so different than what actually happened. We can't go back there.
Right.
It no longer exists in the current reality. All we have is now. So we have to make the most out of now and start valuing your time. You become more productive when you start putting your time first. This little portion of moments that you get, you pour into it. You are investing your time. You're not wasting or spending. You are investing your time, just like you invest your money when you're investing in doing better things for yourself in your future.
I love that. And I think we can really highlight that there's a difference between investing and spending. When you invest, you're expecting a return. When you spend, you get what you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're spending, I'm going to spend money on this candy bar, but I'm going to get the candy bar. Whereas when you're investing, you're getting value back. You know what I'm saying? You're getting something sustainable back. So I love that illustration there, and how we are investing our time. So ladies, what that means is, in order for you to optimize your productivity in your life in general, is that you need to be intentional about where you invest your time. So if that joker that you dating is not giving you value back, you need to invest your time elsewhere. Because right now you're just spending. Oh my God. And that obviously that's an example that we can kind of stay on, just because we're women and relationships are a thing for us. But really being intentional about how you invest your time. Are you investing your time in developing your skills as an entrepreneur? Are you investing your time in taking bubble baths once a week so that you can just clear your mind and just rest? Are you investing your time by having movie night with your little girls without having your phone or your laptop open? Are you investing in your marriage by putting your devices down? Because listen, I'm talking to myself. Okay. I know y'all are just here and y'all are listening. Y'all think this is about you, but right now I'm talking to myself, because it's so easy to get wrapped up in the device or in your phone, your laptop, your social media. I have a thing to do for a client. It's so easy to get wrapped up in those things. But when you're investing in those things, you're not investing in those other things that need more time. Right. And so we have to be really, really intentional with how we invest our time. And you said it too, Olivia, that your time is valuable. If we don't value our time, other people will not value our time. So you're wondering why Susie always calls you at 3 a.m. when she's going through something in a relationship that she's not even supposed to be in, or, she's trying to figure something out and she's calling you at 3 a.m. and you're picking up. She doesn't value your time because you don't value your time. Don't answer the phone. Did you know that you don't have to answer the phone? Okay. You don't have to respond to that text message. You don't have to respond to that client's email at 11 p.m. because once you show them that you are up and I will answer you at 11 p.m., they're going to continue to reach out and you're going to become resentful. You know what I'm saying? Oh, why are they reaching out to me after hours? Because you answer, right? And so in valuing your time, you're setting boundaries, not just for yourself, but for other people around you. And that also protects your peace as well. So that's a major productivity nugget right there, is valuing your time and then being intentional about how you invest that time. Because hello, we don't get time back. We only are allotted a certain amount of time. And so you don't want to waste it. So that was a great point. So anything else, like what are some other ways that we can be more productive in our lives?
Cutting out your distractions.
Mm.
Really putting those timers on your social media and not extending those timers. If you're on social media for business, really be on there for business. Really be creating content. Really be like I was the scroller for a minute, you know, and then I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. If I'm scrolling, it's to find reels that I can save the audio from at a later date and batch film at a later date. Like before we were doing this, I was batch filming content. Like I was, you know, because that was something that I was able to do. And working smarter, not harder. Doing like task with like task. If you know you're gonna have makeup on one day, go ahead and set aside some time to do things. Also, stop overloading your plate. I heard this from my one of my podcast guests, Charmaine Johnson. She said, leave room for Jesus. And yes, leave room to do things. Like nothing happens as planned ever. So stop overloading your schedule and then overwhelming yourself because you didn't get everything done. Start studying yourself. Start studying, especially when you start out in business, or let's say that you're starting to take on more clients and starting to do new things. Give yourself at least 2 months to really review your habits and track yourself and be like, okay, this is what I was able to get done in this time. This is what happened here. Take real notes and really, you know, go back with that. And also, like, just in addition to productivity, using your menstrual cycle to your benefit. I'm not talking about when you're on your period. I'm talking about the full 28 days. We go through 4 different hormones as females throughout the month. So understanding when you're going to be your most attractive is very beneficial for you to know which times is the best time for you to batch film, because then your content's going to just be better. It's going to be better because you're scientifically more attractive. And then when you're in a state of wanting to close in and not really be around people, don't overload your schedule, because nobody is happy about the time that they said something they shouldn't have said. Just don't even do that. Don't put yourself in that position. You know, if you're mindful of that, if you're mindful of like, you know what, this isn't going to be the best time for me, we don't have to work on anybody else's schedule but our own.
Right.
Don't rush yourself for your success. Don't do it. No. Keep it simple to remain consistent. You don't have to do all these complicated things. Okay, so that's a whole.
No, I was going to say that right there is a quote. What did you say? Keep it simple so you can stay consistent?
Yeah, I actually made a post about that today. So I think it was funny that we were talking about this, but yeah.
Oh, see, look at that. Look at that. Keep it simple so that you can stay consistent. Like I don't know. I'm just kind of like, wow. Like that pretty much sums it up, because, you know, and that really rings true for those of us who are like me, who are just doing the most all the time. You know, I want to do everything at 100%. And, you know, so I am that person that will overload the schedule and overload the plate, because in my head, I'm like, I can do all of this. Meanwhile, you know, I am setting out to do X, Y, and Z. And then the baby throws up all over everything. You know, it's like, oh, there goes 30 minutes, you know, and now she's cranky. I got to, you know, be mommy now. And so everything on the schedule of 1,000 things gets pushed back. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, I'm exaggerating, guys, but these are things that I've also had to work on over the course of time. And so, like you said, even yesterday, I had to reach out to Olivia, like, listen, I got to be mommy today. So we can't podcast today because I got to be mommy. Being flexible. That was not something that was always a thing for me. I would really like flex and then I would have had the baby like under the desk with a bottle and still showing up here like, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Brittany Smith podcast. I am here like, because I was crazy like that. But I started to really do some introspective work. I want to be there and I want to be the best me for everyone that I am positioned to serve. And really reevaluating my priorities. My business, I love my business. My clients, I love y'all. My podcast guests and listeners, I love y'all, but my family's first. Period. And so I had to do this thing because I wasn't being intentional about my time. I wasn't being intentional about the things that I wanted and the things that were going to make me happy. My happy family makes me happy. You know what I'm saying? And so these are the things I need you guys to think about. Your business doesn't run you, you run it. And so I'm glad, Olivia, that you said that. You make your schedule. Don't tell me you're too busy. Okay, you're the one that made your schedule. You did that. And just as you did it, you can undo it. The people that you have to move around, they'll be okay. And the ones that are not okay shouldn't have been on your schedule to begin with. You've got to take some of this stuff back, boo. Okay. I feel like big sis right now. Like you have got to take control back over some of these things. I always say this to my clients as well. You have to control the controllables. Olivia said it. Things are going to go as unplanned. They're going to go, wacky. Control what you can. You may not be able to control, the forest fire, but you can control how you respond to it. You can control what coping mechanisms you already put in place because you knew that forest fires are a thing because you live in an area where forest fires happen, right? You were prepared. So you know how to respond. Oh, this is like, I feel like we're getting ready to like venture off even into something else. So we're gonna land the plane here. But Olivia, you have been fantastic. And again, I just love your insight. And that one quotable for me is like gonna be the major takeaway. Keep it simple so you can stay consistent. Like that is my takeaway. So Olivia, tell us, I know you have a 90-day transformational program that you do. Tell us what you have available for us right now. How can we connect with you and all of that?
Absolutely. Well, you can find me on Instagram at coach_live. You can find me on my podcast, The Empowered Woman, Badass and Unfiltered, anywhere you listen to podcasts. I also offer a complimentary 20-minute strategy session that I think I've given you the link for. So if you are wanting to like get your life a little more organized than it currently is, that would be for you. And I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Olivia Cook. I think those are, and my website, oliviatmcook.com.
Awesome. Listen, ladies, excuse me, make sure you connect with her and make sure you also follow her podcast as well. As you can see, she has a lot of insight to give. And her story is incredible. Like we didn't even really get into the story. This is one of the business episodes. I might have to bring her back for an inspiring interview just so we can really dig into the relationships and the money struggles and the full plate of working 2 jobs and being in school full time, like all of it. Like we just want to go into all of it. So we'll hopefully schedule that for the future. But Olivia, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Ladies, make sure you meet me on Facebook in the Female Coaches, Consultants, and Content Creators group on Facebook, where these podcast interviews will be streamed as well, along with some other trainings. I do have a matter of fact, I'm going to edit this part out because I don't know when I'm going to air this. And so I have a thing that's coming up, but it may not. Anyway. We are going to, so meet me in the group, guys. And there'll be lots of trainings on branding and strategy and other experts in business are going to come on and share with us how to get our businesses together and keep them together as coaches, consultants, and content creators. I am Brittany Ann Smith. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I hope to see you in the next episode of the Brittany Smith Podcast. Bye.